I used to have a shift lead that would get, say, $20 worth of chocolate, and then she'd only ring herself out for $5, which may not seem like a big problem, but it was continuous. And this could be the reason why a small business shuts down. And it may seem only like a problem for the small business owner. It could be a problem for the employees because they have to have a pay cut, or the customers who can't shop there anymore because they lost their favorite shop due to workplace theft. So it really is important to me because I myself work at a small business, and if I were to have a pay cut, or if I were to have, to pay back product cost for something that I didn't have anything to do with because it was stolen, that would be really harmful to me. So in this speech, I'm going to be discussing workplace theft and how it relates to small businesses mainly. And I will be mainly getting into the fact that, the rate of workplace theft, the difference between big businesses and small businesses, and how they, have to pay for their problems, and most importantly, how to combat it. So the biggest problem is that small businesses, they are much more likely to be victims of workplace theft, and specifically small businesses with less than 100 people working there. The reason small businesses are so susceptible to this fraud is because they lack basic accounting controls. They tend to have a high level of trust in their employees, which might not always be good, and they are less likely to be audited. Doug Karp, Senior Vice President for Hiscox, which is an insurer of nearly 400 workplace theft cases, says, "When you have 5 or 10 people working in an office, you trust each other like family members," which is his reasoning behind why small business owners are more likely to fall victim to employee theft. On the other hand, big business owners are able to bounce back from these problems, but not all small business owners are. According to Fundera, which is basically a small business financial advisor, it says that 86.3% of small business owners make less than $100,000 a year. And this is not a sufficient amount of money for owners to support their own businesses while dealing with workplace theft. Although there are options for small business owners like commercial property insurance and business owners policies, BOP costs an average of $1,200 yearly, which can be difficult for a new business owner, which is already paying goods. So I have this graph. It shows business insurance costs, and one being ELPI insurance, which is pretty much just covers damages and defense for workplace discrimination, wrongful termination, and everything in that sort. Inland marine insurance that covers transportation. Business owner policies, like I said, it covers theft. It also covers damages and such. Commercial auto insurance, it covers auto accidents with your company. Commercial property insurance, it does the same thing except based on property. So if you have like a leak that explodes, and anything like that. And personal liability insurance, it's pretty much just covers, injuries in the workplace, which happen, sadly a lot. So this may not seem like a big problem, for big businesses because this is just a small amount of money, with the most of $2,900. But for small businesses, this is a big chunk of money. And so it's really hard to deal with. And so considering that all these small businesses are more likely to be victims of workplace theft, there are ways of combating it. Many businesses conduct background checks, and while this may not always work, it will be an option. A very important thing for small businesses is to have a good relationship with their employees, because according to a Hollinger and Clark study, the happier an employee is at the job, the less likely they are to get involved in fraudulent activity. In conclusion, small businesses are much more likely to be victims of workplace theft than big businesses, and are also rarely able to bounce back from these problems because small business owners don't have enough money that the big businesses do. But there are also ways of fighting workplace theft that are important to consider if you are starting up a business. So remember, if you're ever thinking of stealing from your job, remember the girl that I told you about? Well, she got fired and she had to pay back everything and all the costs taken. So, and the other option was legal intervention. So, your choice.